In a typical classroom setting, communication follows a predictable pattern. A teacher poses a question, and a student provides a brief, isolated answer. While this basic communication functions, it fails to bridge the gap between reciting a fact and actually understanding a complex concept. To change the flow of information, this diagram compares a hub-and-spoke setup, routing everything through the teacher, versus a decentralized web of student-led dialogue. Reaching this web requires a framework. Breaking lessons into 3 phases, before, during, and after, guide students out of their routine. Applying this structure turns a room built for passive memorization into an active, rigorous thinking environment. Step 1 begins before the lesson even starts. The prerequisite here is your material. You need a task that requires actual critical thinking, rather than asking students to pull a single correct fact from memory. Once you have that task, you cannot just hand it out and expect rich conversation to happen organically. You must explicitly dictate your expectations for the quality of their talk before the work begins. Students need specific verbs to act on. Instruct them to explain their reasoning, question their peers, challenge assumptions, and build on each other's ideas. The most common point of failure here is the assumption that students naturally know how to debate or expand on academic concepts constructively. To mitigate that failure, you must provide them with mandatory, concrete discussion structures. This means giving them the exact words to start with. Display these specific sentence stems for them to use. I agree because, I would challenge that because, and can you explain further? Before you let the dialogue begin, physically check the room. If those stems are not clearly visible to every student, you are not ready to start. Providing this linguistic scaffolding removes the friction of figuring out how to phrase a response. This frees up all of the students' mental energy, allowing them to focus strictly on what they are thinking. When the task begins, your first action is physical. You must step backward from the center of the room and adopt a posture of observation. Your operational role has changed. You are no longer an instructor delivering facts at the front of the class. You are now a facilitator managing the flow of ideas. This is an active job. You need to listen closely to the groups, probe their initial answers, and use targeted questions, never statements, to extend their thinking. During this phase, you will likely encounter a specific threat to the process, a highly confident minority of students attempting to dominate the airspace. Your immediate countermeasure is to intervene and intentionally direct questions to the quieter students, ensuring universal participation. You can track whether your facilitation is working by watching the room's body language. This spatial diagram shows the target state. Instead of all sightlines pointing exclusively at you, the lines of attention should be intersecting horizontally between the students. By removing yourself as the immediate validator of who is right and who is wrong, you force the students to rely entirely on logical reasoning and peer collaboration to test their ideas. When the task concludes, the immediate focus shifts away from the core subject matter. Instead, you analyze the communication process itself. The feedback you provide right now cannot simply address the accuracy of their final conclusions. It must evaluate exactly how they interacted with one another to reach those conclusions. Pose direct, process-based questions to the room. Ask them out loud if they actively listened. Ask if they successfully built on a classmate's idea, and if they managed to deepen the conversation. Next, you require the students to conduct a self-reflection on their own performance within the group. Give them precise prompts to evaluate external learning and internal shifts. Ask them, what did you learn from others, and how did your thinking change? The goal of these questions is to help students recognize that the friction experienced during the discussion was the actual mechanism driving their learning. Explicitly analyzing this process creates a feedback loop. It ensures measurable, continuous improvement in their critical thinking skills, producing intellectual benefits that outlast any single lesson. You now possess a complete chronological cycle to plan, facilitate, and evaluate a structured dialogue session. By combining visible sentence stems along with active facilitation and process-oriented feedback, you equip your students to communicate at a significantly higher tier. Because these interactions, explaining logic, questioning premises, and building on evidence, are the universal mechanics of inquiry, the framework scales across all subjects. A student uses the same linguistic tools to probe a mathematical proof as they do to challenge a historical interpretation. Ultimately, dialogue serves as the architectural foundation of the thinking classroom, integrating these habits into the daily environment. Prioritizing structured dialogue moves the classroom away from the passive reception of information toward the active, intellectual creation of knowledge.